Brought to you by Penguin.
The New Hot, Taking on the Menopause with Attitude and Style by Meg Mathews, read by Meg Mathews, Amy Noble and Alexander Capon.
Foreword by Dr. Louise Newson, GP and menopause specialist. Why is this book so essential? Because even I, a GP and menopause specialist, didn't realise at first why I was feeling so off when my menopause happened. A few years ago, when I was 46, I started to feel more tired than I had ever felt before. My energy levels had reduced, and my motivation was much lower than it had ever been. Yes, I was busy. I had recently set up a menopause clinic and was writing content for my Menopause Doctor website. And yes, I have 3 daughters, but my life is always busy, so I could see no obvious reason for this sudden, overwhelming fatigue. My memory was also worsening. I was finding it much harder to remember even simple things such as where I had left my car keys and the birthdays of friends. But more worryingly, I was struggling to remember names of medications at work. I generally felt lower in my mood and less interested in things. My migraines were worsening both in frequency and severity. My joints were stiff and my muscles were sore, so I had stopped practicing yoga. I presumed all these symptoms were related to working too hard and being pulled in too many directions at work and home. Although I could hide many of these symptoms from my family, I found I was becoming much more irritable and short-tempered with them. Then, one evening I shouted at one of my teenage daughters because she was late going to bed. She responded by questioning whether I needed to have my period because my mood was so foul. She explained that many of her friends were more irritable and moodier in the days before their periods, and I was behaving in a similar way. Then the penny dropped. I realised I had not actually had a period for several months, and all of my symptoms were clearly related to being perimenopausal. Despite being a menopause specialist and seeing women with similar symptoms all the time, I had not recognised that my own symptoms had been related to my changing hormone levels. I know I'm not alone in not recognising my symptoms. The menopause is guaranteed to happen to all women across the globe, yet it is still a taboo to discuss. Most women know few facts about what the menopause means, and rarely know about the potential long-term health risks associated with having low hormone levels. Even more worrying is that the majority of doctors and nurses, myself included, do not have any formal training about the menopause as we qualify. It's up to us to educate ourselves later in our career. Now the majority of what I talk and think about is the menopause, but that isn't the case for all medical professionals. It took Meg months for her symptoms to be associated with her hormones, but there are millions of women worldwide who are never ever diagnosed correctly. Instead, they are misdiagnosed with conditions such as depression, anxiety, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, worsening migraines, cystitis, and even dementia. Meg and I have spent many hours sharing stories and plotting ways of helping such women on a larger scale. Although we laugh a lot together, we also share our feelings of frustration and disappointment that so many women worldwide are still not being given the correct advice or information, despite there being published menopause guidelines from which healthcare professionals should be working. Women need to be able to make the right choices for them about how they manage their perimenopause and menopause. Many of us stumble across a combination of ways that may include HRT, exercise, nutrition, meditation, and good sleep hygiene, but we all need to find ways that work to minimise our symptoms and optimise our future health. After all, life expectancy for women has increased over time, and for many women, the menopause now lasts for several decades. Even those women who do not have symptoms, or whose symptoms have gone, still have low levels of hormones in their bodies that can affect their health later in life, as low levels of estrogen.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?